अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. It's a surprise Bhagavatam class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Okay, we are actually going to, the main verse for today is 4:24:52. 4:24:52 is the main verse for today, but it's a very cool topic today, so we're going to look at several other verses. Okay? Padasharat Padma Palasha Rochisha Nakadyubhir No Antar Agham Vidhunvata Pradarshaya Swiyam Apasta Sadhvasam Padam Guru Marga Guruhu Tamojusham Padasharat Padma Palasharochisha Nakadyubhirnontaragam Vidhunvata Pradarshaya Swiyam Apasta Sadhvasam Padam Guru Marga Gurustamojusham Padasharat Padma Palasharochisha Nakadyubhirnontaragam Vidhunvata Pradarshaya Swiyam Apasta Sadhvasam Padam Guru Marga Guru Tamojusham Padasharat Padma Palasharochisha Nakadyubhirnontaragam Vidhunvata Pradarshaya Swiyam Apasta Sadhvasam Padam Guru Marga Gurustamojusham
Padasharat Padma Palasharochisha
Padasharat Padma Palasharochisha Nakadyubhirnontaragam Vidhunvata Pradarshaya Swiyam Apasta Sadhvasam Padam Guru Marga Gurustamojusham
Padasharat Padma Palasharochisha
Padasharat Padma Palasharochisha Nakadyubhirnontaragam Vidhunvata. Next. Chant one line. Third line is now. Pradarshaya Swiyam Apasta Sadhvasam
Padam Guru Marga Gurustamojusham
Padam Guru Marga Gurustamojusham
Padasharat Padam Palasharochisha
Padasharat Padma Palasharochisha Nakadyubhirnontaragam Vidhunvata Pradarshaya Swiyam Apasta Sadhvasam
Padam Guru Marga Gurustamojusham
Padam Guru Marga Gurustamojusham
Padasarat Padma Palasharotisha
Padasharat Padma Palasharocisha Nakaduvirundaragam vidunvata. Third line. Pradarshaya swiyamapastasapasam padam guru margajudoshasam pada by the lotus feet. Sharat, autumn. Padma, lotus flower. Palasha, petals. Rochisha, very pleasing. Nakha, nails. Dyubhihi, by the effulgence. Naha, hour. Antah agham, dirty things. Vidhunvata, which can cleanse. Pradarshaya, just show. Swiyam, your own. Apasta, diminishing. Sadhvasam, the trouble of the material world. Padam, lotus feet. Guru, oh supreme spiritual master. Marga, the path. Guruhu, spiritual master. Tamahajusham, of the persons suffering in ignorance. Let's also repeat the translation. Let's all read the translation together, slow and steady, without running. 1, 2, 3. My dear Lord, your two lotus feet are so beautiful that they appear like two blossoming petals of the lotus flower which grows during the autumn season. Indeed, the nails of your lotus feet emanate such a great effulgence that they immediately dissipate all the darkness in the heart of a conditioned soul. My dear Lord, kindly show me that form of yours which always dissipates all kinds of darkness in the heart of a devotee. My dear Lord, you are the supreme spiritual master of everyone. Therefore, all conditioned souls covered with the darkness of ignorance can be enlightened by you as the spiritual master. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Shiva has thus described the bodily features of the Lord authoritatively. Now he wants to see the lotus feet of the Lord. When a devotee wants to see the transcendental form of the Lord, he begins his meditation on the Lord's body by first looking at the feet of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be the transcendental sound form of the Lord, and the 12 cantos are divided in accordance with the transcendental form of the Lord. The first and second cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam are called the two lotus feet of the Lord. It is therefore suggested by Lord Shiva that one should first try to see the lotus feet of the Lord. This also means that if one is serious about reading Srimad Bhagavatam, he must begin by seriously studying the first and second cantos. The beauty of the lotus feet of the Lord is compared to the petals of a lotus flower which grows in the autumn season. By nature's law, in autumn the dirty or muddy waters of rivers and lakes become very clean. At that time, the lotus flowers growing in the lakes appear very bright and beautiful. The lotus flower itself is compared to the lotus feet of the Lord, and the petals are compared to the nails of the feet of the Lord. The nails of the feet of the Lord are very bright, as Brahma Samhita testifies. Ananda Chinmaya Sadujvala Vigrahasya. Every limb of the transcendental body of the Lord is made of Ananda Chinmaya Sadujvala. Thus, every limb is eternally bright. As sunshine dissipates the darkness of this material world, the effulgence emanating from the body of the Lord immediately dries up the darkness in the heart of the conditioned soul. In other words, everyone serious about understanding the transcendental science and seeing the transcendental form of the Lord must first of all attempt to see the lotus feet of the Lord by studying the first and second cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. When one sees the lotus feet of the Lord, all kinds of doubts and fears within the heart are vanquished. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that in order to make spiritual progress, one must become fearless. Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi, Bhagavad Gita 16:1. Fearfulness is the result of material involvement. It is also said in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 2nd chapter, verse number 37. Bhayam dvitiyabhiniveshitah syat. Fearfulness is a creation of the bodily conception of life. As long as one is absorbed in the thought that he is this material body, he is fearful. And as soon as one is freed from this material conception, he becomes Brahmabhuta, or self-realized, and immediately becomes fearless. Brahmabhuta prasannatma, Bhagavad Gita 1854. Without being fearless, one cannot be joyful. The bhaktas, the devotees, are fearless and always joyful because they are constantly engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. It is also said, Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, verse number 20. By practicing Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga, one becomes fearless and joyful. Unless one becomes fearless and joyful, he cannot understand the science of God. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. This verse refers to those who are completely liberated from the fearfulness of this material world. When one is so liberated, he can really understand the transcendental features of the form of the Lord. Lord Shiva therefore advises everyone to practice Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga, as will be clear in the following verses. By doing so, one can become really liberated and enjoy bliss. It is also stated, Om Adhyanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The Lord is the Supreme Spiritual Master, and the bona fide representative of the Supreme Lord is also a spiritual master. The Lord from within enlightens the devotees by the effulgence of the nails of his lotus feet, and his representative, the spiritual master, enlightens from without. Only by thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord and always taking the spiritual master's advice can one advance in spiritual life and understand Vedic knowledge. Together. Yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau tasyaite kathitha hyartha prakashante mahatmanaha. Thus the Vedas, Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.23, enjoin that for one who has unflinching faith in the lotus feet of the Lord, as well as in the spiritual master, the real import of Vedic knowledge can be revealed. Let's pray together. Om Adhyanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuddhapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Jayatam Surato Pangor Mamandamatirgati Matsarvasva Padam Bojau Radha Madan Mohano Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastho Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Preshthalevi Sevemano Smarami Shriman Rasarasarambi Vamshi Vatatadasita Karshanvenu Swaner Gopi Gopinatha Shriyastuna Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyavacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Padasharat Padma Palasharuchisha Nakadyubhirnontaragam Vidunmata Pradarshayasviya Apasta Sadvasam Padam Guru Marga Gurustamo Jusham. This is a very special verse for today. Today is Mahashivratri, and this is a prayer spoken by Lord Shiva to the Prachetas. So I'll do a quick context before we dive deeper. Many of you have heard what I was going to speak today, yesterday. So this is a new class, okay? because I didn't want to repeat the same thing and bore you. As it is, people sleep in the Bhagavatam class. Didn't want to make it sure that everybody is asleep, right? So, okay, so quick, today's topic actually is, it's a great conspiracy to save us all, okay? Krishna and all of his dear associates are hatching a conspiracy, okay? It's extremely conspiratorial, how they act and how they behave, just to save us from ourselves, okay? So that's the topic for today. Today is Mahashivratri. The main significance of this day, three from different scriptures. One is that this was the day when Lord Shiva married Parvati Devi. In other words, this is the day of our birth in the material world. We entered into the material world. I spoke about that yesterday. Won't get into details too much. And the second one is also when Lord Shiva dances the Tandava Nritya, Tandava dance that happens at the end of this universe. It's a long way off, but still. So this is also our death day from this material world. Both our birthday and death day also. And the third one is, this is the day when Lord Shiva swallowed the entire ocean of halahal poison, took it into the palm of his hand and swallowed it and kept it in his neck, which is why he's known as Nilkantha, the blue necked, the blue line on his neck. Okay, so yesterday's class in Barry has more details. I won't get into too much detail on that. Okay. But here is a quick context for those of you who might not be familiar with where we are in the Bhagavatam right now for this verse. Okay, there is a king named Prachina Bharhi, and he had 10 sons with his wife, and these 10 sons are very, very qualified and very, very intelligent. So his father wanted them to be Prajapatis. That means he wanted them to populate the whole world. And normally speaking, if one gets an order like that from the father, one is very glad to get married and start the business, right? But they have decided to first meditate so that they can purify their consciousness. Okay? And they ended up meditating for 10,000 years before they had children. Okay? So how did this happen? Okay? The question is there in the Bhagavatam. Okay? What happened was that when they were going in this very auspicious desire to meditate on the Lord, to meditate on Krishna, they were met by Lord Shiva. So there's a beautiful description you were saying yesterday about a beautiful lake with all the plants and beautiful birds and everything, and water is very still and calm, like the mind of a perfect yogi who doesn't move here and there, running around all over the place. And Lord Shiva appeared from within that water. He was inside that water and he appeared from within that in his golden complexion, which is his blue line on his neck, surrounded by his associates and Parvati Devi and the whole beautiful thing. And these young fellows who were going to meditate saw this personality and they immediately fell at his lotus feet and they begged him for his blessings. And then we'll read the translations of some of the verses just so that we can hear it directly from the Bhagavatam. Okay, so we are going to 4:24:17 as a background for this. Okay, and we are going to look at this 4:24:17. Okay, just the translations. 23, 24. Okay, so who is saying the story? Vidura is telling the story. Okay, the great sage Vidura continued. He's telling. O best of the Brahmanas, he's telling Maitreya, it is very difficult for living entities encaged within this material body to have personal contact with Lord Shiva. Okay? Impossible, practically speaking. Even great sages who have no material attachments do not contact him, despite their always being absorbed in meditation to attain his personal contact. Okay? So it's actually quite difficult. Even though he is supposed to be easy to placate, it's not that easy. Okay? Easy among other harder things, but still quite difficult. Next one. Lord Shiva, the most powerful demigod, second only to Lord Vishnu, is self-sufficient. Although he has nothing to aspire for in the material world, for the benefit of those in the material world, he is always busily engaged everywhere and is accompanied by his dangerous energies, like Goddess Kali and Goddess Durga. Okay? So we'll jump a little bit to 27 because we don't have too much time. And here's 27, okay. Lord Shiva said, You are all the sons of Prachina Barhi, and I wish all good fortune to you. I also know what you are going to do, and therefore I am visible to you just to show my mercy upon you. Okay, and we'll go to 28, 29, and 30. Okay, so 28 is Lord Shiva continued. Any person who is surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the controller of everything, material nature as well as the living entity, is actually very dear to me. I made these statements yesterday without because it was a general audience and I didn't want to get too much into the specific details. But here is the evidence of what I was saying yesterday. Okay, that anybody who is surrendered to Krishna is dear to Lord Shiva. You don't have to separately make yourself dear. The Prachetas did not go to the forest to find Lord Shiva and get blessings from him. They were focused on Krishna, and Lord Shiva appeared as a spiritual one. And we'll talk about that also today. Okay, next. A person who executes his occupational duty properly for 100 births becomes qualified to occupy the post of Brahma. And if he becomes more qualified, he can approach Lord Shiva. Not become Lord Shiva, but approach Lord Shiva. A person who is directly surrendered to Lord Krishna or Vishnu in unalloyed devotional service is immediately promoted to the spiritual planets. Lord Shiva and other demigods attain these planets after the destruction of this material world. Okay, and 30. You are all devotees of the Lord, and as such, I appreciate that you are as respectable. What is Lord Shiva saying? Just observe this carefully, okay? You are all devotees of the Lord, and as such, I appreciate that you are as respectable as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. I know in this way that the devotees also respect me, and that I am dear to them. Thus, no one can be as dear to the devotees as I am. So, if you really love Lord Shiva, then be a pure devotee of Krishna. Because that's what Lord Shiva is saying. Okay? It is said, question yesterday was asked, it is said, Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu, Lord Shiva is the best of all devotees. Therefore, all devotees of Lord Krishna are also devotees of Lord Shiva. In Vrindavan, there is Lord Shiva's temple called Gopishwara. The gopis used to worship not only Lord Shiva but Katyani or Durga as well, but their main aim was to attain the favor of Lord Krishna. A devotee of Lord Krishna does not disrespect Lord Shiva but worships Lord Shiva as the most exalted devotee of Lord Krishna. Consequently, whenever a devotee worships Lord Krishna, he prays to Lord Shiva to achieve the favor of Krishna and thus does not request material profit, as opposed to everybody else who's only there to request material profit, in which case they cannot be called as devotees of Lord Shiva. They are just devotees of their own material profit. That's all that they are devotees of. Offering the bilva leaves, offering the milk and the water and whatever it is that they're offering Abhishek to Lord Shiva, they are not worshipping Lord Shiva, they are only worshipping their own material desires. So this is an important distinction to understand how we should worship Lord Shiva. When you go to Lord Shiva and you say, please give me devotional service, He's extremely happy to give it. But when you go to Lord Shiva and say, fulfill this desire and that one too, by the way, this one too, He's extremely dissatisfied by that. And in that case, His blessing actually becomes a curse to remain in the material world. Because he acts as a good cop while he's not dancing his Tandav Nritya. It becomes a curse. So he gives that stuff so that you can just remain entangled in the material world forever, practically. Okay? Now, we'll jump to the translation of the same chapter, verse number 74. Okay? 74. Okay? Lord Shiva is continuing this. A devotee of Lord Krishna, whose mind is always absorbed in Him, who with great attention and reverence chants this stotra. I gave some homework yesterday to those who were in Barry. Did you do it? No. Chapter 24. Okay? And I'll tell you why you should do that homework. A devotee of Lord Krishna, whose mind is always absorbed in Him, who with great attention and reverence chants this stotra, prayer, will achieve the greatest perfection of life without delay. Who wants to achieve the greatest perfection of life without delay? Please chant this stotra at least once today, okay? Alright, so
Sorry, what's the topic?
this chapter 24. Read the whole chapter 24 once, as best as you can. Even if you can just do the English, do the English. If you can do any other language, do any other language. Doesn't matter. If you can chant the Sanskrit verses, however you chant them, doesn't matter. Lord Shiva knows what ability we have. Just chant them once, at least today. Okay, reflect on this. This is our meditation for today. It's a beautiful chapter, amazing, incredible part of the Bhagavatam that actually shows Lord Shiva's love for Krishna. And when I was reading the Bhagavatam many years ago for Sunday feast, there was one very advanced devotee who does not want to be named. But just by hearing that verse that I was chanting, even before I started the class, was already crying. Just by hearing that verse that was describing Lord Shiva's ecstasy, that devotee already was in tears, standing on the corner and just, already in ecstasy, right? So, anyways, I'm just asking you to chant it once today, okay? You know what the Prachetas did? They chanted this stotra continuously, endlessly, while being inside the water of the ocean for 10,000 years, day and night, without a pause. Okay, that's what they did before they went and had a child. Okay, so I'm not asking you to do 10,000 years. Nobody has that capacity. But if you can just do once today, that would be wonderful. A wonderful beginning. One day you will do 10,000 years also. Okay, but for now, once. Okay, now, yesterday we also chanted that verse. Together we can chant this. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Kshiram yatha dadhi vikara vishesha yoga sanjayate nahi tata prithagasti heto yah shambhutam tatha samupaiti karya govindamadi purusham namaham bhajami. So in that, there's a particular phrase, nahi prithagasti heto. Please, you can bring that up so that everybody can see that phrase, nahi prithagasti heto. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, so look at the translation of that. You need to go to vedabase.io, go to Brahma Samhita. There you go. Yeah, and Control F, SIVA. Did you find it? No?
Sure, obviously not.
Might be some more.
10th, I think it's the 10th verse.
This is
You're looking for Sanskrit in English.
Oh, Sanskrit. We are looking for the
You
phrase.
know what?
This one?
Yeah. No. Back. Sorry. 10th verse from the ones we chant.
29, like 29 to
29.
29 के बाद 39.
20. This one? 20.
No, not that one.
No. So can I ask you to do one thing, Prabhu? Just open advanced view where all the verses are visible. No. Just select advanced view and get all the verses and the translation. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Milk. Okay, so go down a little bit in the word by word translations. So prithak, separated, asti is heto, which is the cause. So nahi, not, indeed, tata, from the milk. So indeed, what this verse is saying here is that if you go down to the translation, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying, okay, but yet the curd is neither the same nor different from its cause. So what this verse nahi prithagasti heto means that the purpose of Lord Shiva and Krishna are identical. Hetu means purpose. Nahi prithagasti hetu means not different. Okay. So what does this mean? If you recall yesterday's, I'll say this in short. Okay. So you know that Krishna expands as Balaram. Balaram expands as the first Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, first Chaturvya, second. First Sankarshan expands as the second Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and the second Sankarshan expands as Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu emanates the universes from the pores of his body. He glances at the Mahat Tattva and impregnates the living entities into this. Now, if you look at all of this really complicated arrangement, okay, such a complicated thing, right? Right? Just understanding the different expansions is so complicated. Why go through all this trouble? Right? Why not say, okay, Why not just say, okay, you don't want to be with me, into hell with you? Right? Why go into all this trouble of expanding and then creating the universes and then impregnating all the living entities, allowing them to experience their material desires? All of this, such a complicated matter, facilitating all of this really, really difficult circumstance. Like why should anybody do this? Okay, so for what? Is to facilitate us and our desires. Okay, so parents facilitate their children, right? Government facilitates its citizens, right? Employer facilitates their employees so that they can facilitate the customers, right? Like this, there are so many different facilitations happening in the material world. We see that, okay? But in the material world, there is usually a tinge of something that the facilitator wants back from the facilitatee, right? So if I'm giving you some kind of facility, then I'm expecting something in return for you. And it's never unconditional. Even here in the temple, it's not unconditional, right? There is some kind of condition attached. Like you can stay here as long as you attend Mangalarti. Like as long as you follow the regulatory principles, as long as you chant Hare Krishna, as long as you take only Krishna Prasad, so there's so many conditions that are attached to it. But in the material world, the way Krishna facilitates, there are actually no conditions, right? We are conditioned, but we can experience anything that we like. We just have to work for it, isn't it? Right? So, the important thing is there that while everybody who facilitates anybody else requires something in return or wants something in return or places some kinds of conditions, what does Krishna require from us? What does Mahavishnu require from us? What does Balram require from us? What does Sankarshan require from us? What does anybody require from us? Nothing. They don't need any of this stuff. So the whole expansion that the Lord is manifesting, the material universe and so on, outside of the spiritual realm. Remember, this is outside of Golok Vrindavan. It's outside of Vaikuntha. It's outside. It's external to all of that. The only reason he is facilitating that and creating all of that and taking all the time and the trouble and the effort to do it. Of course, there's no effort for Krishna, but the only reason he is doing that is so we can be facilitated ourselves. That's the whole thing. Okay? So, because he does not want anything from us, but he is giving us whatever we want, and practically unconditionally, that is what makes Krishna and all of his associates so dear and so heartwarming and so heart-touching. It is that they don't want anything back from us. They're just doing it because we want it. That is love. So when we say Krishna loves us, that means that Krishna will do anything that we want, just because we want it. So when we say we want to love Krishna, it should be that. But we'll come to that in a moment. In addition to facilitating our material desires, and while still knowing that we will not be satisfied with all of these things, Krishna has made an elaborate arrangement called the karmic laws, so that we will feel a pinprick here and there, will suffer from our reactions. So that also there's another reason why everything remains fair, so that I take something from you, I have to pay it back. Right? So it's like that. He also, in addition to the karmic laws, which would have been just cruel if it was not for his spiritual instruction, he leaves behind his spiritual instructions. Right? Just to allow us to come back. And he sends back those empowered personalities, such as Lord Shiva, who's an empowered personality of himself. Okay? So, Lord Shiva, what does he do? One example we just saw. He met the Prachetas proactively. Did the Prachetas seek him out? We saw that there was no record of them seeking him out. He sought them out. So this is what it means is that he was very happy that these persons, these 10 boys, are actually out to meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let me help them. In other words, when we are ready, that kind of spiritual instruction will appear by the arrangement of Krishna. How Narad Muni showed up in the jungle when Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest. How Narad Muni showed up when he knew that Prahlad was in the womb of Kayadu. Similarly, all of us who are here in this kind of spiritual environment have been given an opportunity by Krishna, even if we may not have sought it out. A lot of us, especially me, I used to come to the temple in 2004-ish just so that I could have a really nice meal, which I did not have to cook or my wife did not have to cook, right, initially. And then it was the music, and then it was the dancing, all of those kinds of things. I was not looking for spiritual emancipation or whatever you might call it. Like, I was not looking for any of those things. But Krishna made that arrangement. So, this International Society of Krishna Consciousness is a conspiracy. The conspiracy is even when the person who comes into the temple is not looking for spiritual perfection, he gets spiritual perfection. Just have to hang in there long enough. Right? I did not come here for this. There was a certain time in 2009 when the situation was really dire. And there were some times when I could only eat a hearty meal only when I came to the temple. Mother Subhuddhi used to feed us. If you haven't eaten her parathas, you don't know what I'm talking about. And Mother Ragini and these people. So it's actually a conspiracy just to save us from ourselves. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. Now we'll actually go into the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay? One verse. We'll just take one verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay? From here. Okay? From the Antya Leela. Okay? Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, Adi Antya Leela, chapter 2, verse number 4 is what we are looking at specifically. Because we say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saves everybody, right? We say that, isn't it? Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurat Vishaya Namaha. How does he specifically save us? How does he specifically save us? Here's the specific answer. But this applies not only to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but every single Vaishnava, and how that Vaishnava or Vaishnavi saves others. Okay? Here's it. Sakshat darshan ara yogya bhakta jive. आवेश करे कहाँ कहाँ आविर्भावे साक्षात दर्शन आर योग्य भक्ति जीवे आवेश करे कहाँ कहाँ आविर्भावे साक्षात दर्शन आर योग्य भक्त जीवे आवेश करे कहाँ कहाँ आविर्भावे Let's look at the translation. The Lord delivered the fallen souls in some places by meeting them directly, in other places by empowering a pure devotee, and in still other places by appearing before someone himself. Okay? Let's read that translation once more. The Lord delivered the fallen souls. Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3. The Lord delivered the fallen souls in some places by meeting them directly, in other places by empowering a pure devotee, and in still other places by appearing before someone himself. So in some cases, the Lord appears himself. In some cases, he sends an empowered devotee. In some cases, he arranges circumstances so that a person can be delivered. So to all of us here in the material world, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is that vehicle, that appearance of the Lord, that we can be delivered. Nobody thinks that the International Society for Krishna Consciousness has come to deliver me. Nobody thinks that. But actually, people think, oh, I like these people. You know, I love music, or I love their philosophy, or I love exercising my brain. You know, I love, the prasadam especially never fails. I love how these people cook. Like, what is in their food? You know, once in Toronto, actually, there were some people, and we were distributing cookies while we were out on Sankirtan. And one mother with a few children were walking along, and we had this huge cookie tray, and we were distributing the cookies straight from the temple, practically straight from the altar. We were distributing the cookies, and the children ran up to the prasadam where the prasadam was being distributed, took one cookie each and started put it in there. It was a big cookie, so they only could take a small bite out of it, and they were eating the cookie. And the mother, and because the children ran up and the mother was behind them, and she was like, "Don't eat that stuff! Don't eat that stuff! You have no idea what it's going to do to you!" But it was too late because the children had already eaten the cookies. So they don't know it's a conspiracy, right? Like, don't eat that stuff. And she was so angry, she was red in the face, like she was so upset that the children had taken these cookies and eaten them. Of course, she did not know that she was speaking the truth. Anyways, coming back, we don't have too much time to get into all of these things, but coming back, right, we are going to go to one more part of Srimad Bhagavatam, okay?
So before we go, what's the difference between meeting them directly and approaching before someone himself?
You can Krishna can meet us directly through his holy name. He can meet directly through the prasadam. Krishna met those children directly through the prasadam, right? So Krishna can meet in different ways, but he can personally stand in front of you.
I see. Yes.
Right? That's what he meant. So you can, Krishna can come in so many different forms. That's what that particular one. But let's go to 8.7.21. Okay, we are going to look at this. I know that we are out of time. I hope everybody is not impatient. Breakfast is there. We are not fasting today. Okay, so so here, okay, we are going to verse number 21 from the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th chapter, 8.7.21. Okay. So here what has happened is that the demigods and the demons are churning the ocean of milk, and they were churning, and the first thing that came out, in addition to all the disturbed aquatics who were living deep inside the ocean, was poison, very deadly kind of poison. It was destroying the whole universe practically. It was spreading all over the universe. So they have approached the heads of the universe have approached and said, Shri Prajapataya Uchuhu Deva Deva Mahadeva Bhutatman Bhuta Bhavana Trahina Sharana Pannam Strailokya Dhahanat Vishad. The Prajapati said, O greatest of all demigods, Mahadeva, super soul of all living entities and cause of their happiness and prosperity, we have come to the shelter of your lotus feet. Now please save us from this fiery poison which is spreading all over the three worlds. We have to look at Srila Prabhupada's purport because everybody has the same question in their minds. Okay? So since Lord Shiva is in charge of annihilation, why should he be approached for protection which is given by Lord Vishnu? Lord Brahma creates, Lord Shiva annihilates, but both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are incarnations of Lord Vishnu and known as Shaktyavesh avatars. They are endowed with a special power like that of Lord Vishnu, who is actually all pervading in their activities. Therefore, whenever prayers for protection are offered to Lord Shiva, actually Lord Vishnu is indicated. For otherwise, Lord Shiva is meant for destruction. Lord Shiva is one of the Ishwaras or the controllers known as Shaktyavesh avatars. Therefore, he can be addressed as having the qualities of Lord Vishnu. Okay? This is an important thing that we should understand. Okay? We are going to go to 22, which is another very instructive verse translation. O Lord, you are the cause of bondage and liberation of the entire universe because you are its ruler. Those who are advanced in spiritual consciousness surrender unto you. Another question mark, isn't it? Why are we in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness and not in the International Society for Rudra Consciousness? Okay? Therefore, you are the cause of mitigating their distresses and you are also the cause of their liberation. We therefore worship your Lordship. Srila Prabhupada writes, actually, Lord Vishnu maintains and accomplishes all good fortune. If one has to take shelter of Lord Vishnu, why should the demigods take shelter of Lord Shiva? They did so because Lord Vishnu acts through Lord Shiva in the creation of the material world. Lord Shiva acts on behalf of Lord Vishnu. When the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita that He is the father of all living beings, Aham bija pradapita, 14.4, this refers to the actions performed by Lord Vishnu through Lord Shiva. The Lord Vishnu is not touching the material nature, isn't it? So Krishna is not directly touching the material nature. So here is the meaning of that verse. You know, they say that the Bhagavad Gita is a certain text and then the Bhagavad Gita is a deeper study of the Bhagavad Gita. So this is how we understand. Because Krishna is not directly the progenitor of the world, isn't it? So why is he saying that? He's saying that Lord Vishnu is unattached to material activities, and when material activities have to be performed, Lord Vishnu performs them through Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is Vishnu in touch with material nature, agent. Okay? Lord Shiva is therefore worshipped on the level of Lord Vishnu. When Lord Vishnu is untouched by the external energy, he is Lord Vishnu. But when he is in touch with the external energy, he appears in his features as Lord Shiva. Did I say a statement yesterday that Bhakti Charu Maharaj said that Shiva is Krishna in touch with material nature? This is the evidence for that, where Srila Prabhupada is writing that. Okay? So we are just going to look at two more. Let's go to 8739, Prabhu. 8739. I just want to, we'll have a lot of people talking all sorts of things about Lord Shiva outside of the temple. I just want all of us to be clear about this tattva very carefully. Okay? 8739. Okay? People in general, being bewildered by the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are always engaged in animosity towards one another. But devotees, even at the risk of their own temporary lives, try to save them. Who is saying this verse right now? Lord Shiva is saying this verse himself. Okay? After the demigods have made all their prayers to Lord Shiva is saying this right now. Okay? So Lord Shiva is replying. And this is a characteristic of a Vaishnava, Paradukha Dukhi. A Vaishnava is always unhappy to see the conditioned souls unhappy. When somebody is suffering, a devotee does not say, aha, it's the result of your karma. But they are actually very pained by that, by their suffering. Right? That's our attitude. Otherwise, he would have no business teaching them how to become happy. In materialistic life, people must certainly engage in activities of animosity. Materialistic life is therefore compared to samsara davanala, a blazing forest fire that automatically takes place. Lord Shiva and his followers in the parampara system try to save people from this dangerous condition of materialistic life. This is the duty of devotees following the principles of Lord Shiva belonging to the Rudra Sampradaya. There are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, and the Rudra Sampradaya is one of them because Lord Shiva, Rudra, is the best of the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Indeed, as we shall see, Lord Shiva drank all the poison for the benefit of humanity. Okay, this is what we are meant to do. Okay, so I'm going to look at the verse number 40. How Lord Shiva is speaking to his wife, Bhavani Devi. My dear gentle wife, Bhavani, when one performs benevolent activities for others, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is very pleased. Okay? And when the Lord is pleased, I am also pleased, along with all the other living creatures. Therefore, let me drink this poison, for all the living entities may thus become happy because of me. So, this specific verse has to be understood that Lord Shiva never considers himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pumsa kripayato bhadre sarvatma priyate harihi. Specifically, he has used the word Hari, not Aham, not Rudra. Harihi. Priyate haro bhagavati priyeham sacharacharaha tasmadidam garam bhunje prajanam swastirastu me. just so that everybody else may be happy. Okay? So, what it means is the verse that I quoted yesterday in the class. Okay? Here. Please repeat this verse together, 44. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Tapyante lokatapena sadhava prayasho jana paramaradhanam tadhi purushasya khilatmanaha. It is said, together, it is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. Okay, dear devotees, this is the purpose of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. The conspiracy has caught us. Nobody came here to the Western world, especially all you Indians and Nepalis. I'm also Indian. We didn't come here for spiritual advancement, okay? We came here for material sense gratification, okay? But we were caught in this ISKCON, isn't it? Trapped. You also. You went to Delhi and got trapped, isn't it? Right? So it's a conspiracy actually. But once we have benefited from this conspiracy, we need to become part of this conspiracy. And we need to go out there, put ourselves in difficulty, and try to give Krishna to somebody. Whenever we are outside, whenever we meet somebody else, try to give Krishna in some form to somebody else. So you can give Krishna in the form of your own appearance. Because I went to a hospital, we met in the hospital, and there was one nurse who really appreciated my tilak. And that lady, who is definitely a kind soul, she's a nurse by profession, she definitely has got the sukruti of appreciating Krishna. Because who is in the tilak? What is the tilak? What is tilak actually? You know what is tilak? Tilak is when we install the Supreme Personality of Godhead on specific parts of our body. Om Keshavaya Namaha is a Nyasa mantra. That means you please stay here. Om, my dear Keshava, please stay here. And please positively influence my intelligence. Om Keshavaya Namaha. That's what we are doing when you are applying tilak. It's Nyasa mantra. So when somebody appreciates the tilak, who are they appreciating? They are appreciating Krishna. So there you have just figured out how Krishna can be given to somebody who just looks at this shape on your forehead and sees that something is beautiful. Either they appreciate the symmetry of it, they appreciate the artistry of it. I don't know what they are specifically appreciating. They don't know it's Krishna, right? But they appreciate it. So therefore we wear tilak. Just and how we appear in the whole world, right? So we can give them prasad like those little children who ran to get the cookies. And Vijay Krishna Prabhu, you know him? He's a very humble devotee. Very advanced soul, who when we go out on Harinam Sankirtan, he constantly is giving, hey, lollipops to all the kids, all the prasadam lollipops that they hand out. And he says, meet him, talk to him, yoga teacher. And he gets out of the way, right? And he catches the next person and next person and next person and next person, where that, he is very good at making the connection. But he doesn't want to get into explaining the philosophy or whatever to anybody else. So he gets some other devotee who doesn't know how to make the connection and gets them engaged in a conversation. So like that, just figure out a way to give Krishna in some way that they can accept. This is our duty. We have to become part of this conspiracy. We go out to the offices, we go out to the shops, we go out there, we say, hey, I made this yesterday, or my friend made this. I have a friend who really is good at making these things. You try it. What do you think? And then once they appreciate the prasadam, they've already appreciated Krishna, isn't it? So like that, okay? So there are many examples. I think we are well over time here. Lord Shiva always acts to glorify Krishna. There was one more example. I'm going to omit that particular thing from today's thing, okay? So I'll just summarize in the following way, okay? So Krishna cares for us. So therefore he engages in this whole elaborate arrangement just so that we can get what we want, but while getting what we need. Okay, so Krishna is giving us what we need. Okay, he makes it very easy. So if you think about it, he makes it very easy for all of us. But we should not make it hard for him to save us. Now my spiritual master, Guru Maharaj, Sankarshan Prabhu gives the example. Let's say you're walking along a beach and you see a fish who has just come outside the water from one wave and is flapping about to die, right? What would a kind person do? They would overcome their disgust of having to touch a fish, for example. They would pick up the fish and put it back into the water, throw it back into the water. Okay? But sometimes the fish is flapping so much that he slips out of your hands. You pick him up, you're about to throw him, slips out of your hand, falls again on the beach. Right? So, Srila Prabhupada says that when we come in the hands of the spiritual master, we should not wriggle out of his hands. Don't get out of his hands because he's going to throw you back into the water. Just hang on. While he's throwing you back into the water, you might experience all sorts of things, because fish is in the air after all still. So he's still experiencing pain. But he does not know that my trajectory is now I'm going towards the water, I'm going to land in the water and I'll be comfortable again. Very soon, in a few seconds. So Krishna is doing so much to help us. Lord Shiva is appearing, Narad Muni is appearing, Srila Prabhupada has appeared. And I want to give one particular thing that I saw, okay? So I will say that in a moment. But we should share his concern for us and not try to make it hard for him unnecessarily. Because he's going to keep trying, but we are going to prolong our own misery. Just stay in his hands, stay in the spiritual master's hands, and go back home. Don't get out there. Okay? So, Jare dekho tare kaho? Krishna Upadesh. Whose ajna is it? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ajna. Amar ajna hai, Guru haya, taro ei desh. Okay, wherever we are. And you should not think taro ei desh means Nepal. You are in Toronto right now. Okay, so, okay, I'm going to read something very beautiful. This is a pastime recounted by Atma Tattva Prabhu. Atma Tattva Prabhu, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada in India, very expressive devotee. If you see his memories, the way he makes his face, you just reminded of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, he can make the same expressions that Srila Prabhupada would make. Okay, very amazing devotee. But he's saying this story. I had a Krishna book, and on the back cover was a picture of Prabhupada looking at a champak flower he was holding. I showed the man this picture and said, "This is our Guru Maharaj. He has translated these books." The man looked at that picture and then brought some thread and things from a little box. For 10 or 15 minutes, measured Prabhupada's forehead, ears, and so on. Then he said, "This person's features show me that all the 4 Vaishnava Acharyas are present in him. I wish you had a picture of his full form." He's telling the book distributor this. So I showed him a photograph of Prabhupada's full form and he did another study, this time with a lens. Then he said, "I was not wrong. They are all working through this person. You are very fortunate to be with him. I would like to be part of a movement like that in my next life." I said, and this is important especially for today, okay? But I thought your ultimate goal is to go to Kailash. He's a Shaivite. He wants to go to Kailash. Because he was a Shaivite, he said, "Yes, if I go there, I can tell Lord Shiva that I want to join some movement like this and I want to spread dharma everywhere." Okay? He was happy and said, "Please give this book to me. It has given me the highest experience of studying a person's features. I want to keep this book." So I gave him a complimentary copy. This is anecdote by Siddhanta Prabhu, who makes these beautiful things. Okay? So I will conclude here my class. I think since you have already heard this yesterday, I will not summarize everything again. Thank you very much. Questions, comments, concerns, difficulties? No? Yes, you have one?
I have a question.
Yeah? Question.
Yesterday, Prabhu, you were explaining Lord Shiva in Gopeshwar Mahadev's pastime and how his pastime happened in Vrindavan with Krishna. I was wondering, because Vrindavan is not different from Mayapur and Navadvipam, I was wondering if there are any stories of Shiva in Mayapur and pastimes with Mahaprabhu.
Who is Advaita Acharya?
Yes, that is true.
He's directly appeared.
That's a good point. I was wondering, like, in the form of Shiva.
Yes, there are many such places. There is a temple in Mayapur, which you can go, who is, the deity is named Harihareshwar. We have been to the deity. And in this, there's a Shivlinga actually, but half of the Shivlinga is white and half of the Shivlinga is black. And the Pujari there explains that this is actually a form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu combined incarnation with Lord Shiva. So it's a very small, deserted temple, nobody goes there, and you will be the only one practically. But there are such places there. And we know that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj has erected places of Krishna's pastimes, and he has also erected including deities of Lord Shiva. He's a protector of the Dham. So there are such temples in Sridham Mayapur also, where he's the protector of the Dham. There you go. This is the deity, right here. Harihara Kshetra. Right here. So half white, half black, and so if you go down, you'll see the pastime. Okay. So yeah, it's a beautiful place. Yeah, everybody should go. But Advaita Acharya is there personally, right? And you can see that Advaita Acharya. So if you reflect on Advaita Acharya's pastimes, okay. So if you look, we have just read about Lord Shiva and how he has come to give instruction to the people, to the Prachetas, right? But Advaita Acharya has ascertained that actually he cannot do it. This is beyond me. ये मेरे बस की बात नहीं है. Like I am out of this. Like I can't do this. You have to come yourself, my boss. You have to come yourself. I can't do this. I'm here and I'm supposed to be a spiritual master because I'm Advaita Acharya, but I can't do this. So you personally come and do this. So offering Tulsi leaves to Shaligram Shila along with the Ganga water. Please come, please come, please come, please come, please come, please come. Like that. So Lord Shiva in this case is begging Krishna to please come. Please come, please come. Like that. And he inaugurated the pastimes practically by inviting the Lord. And if you look at the Balya Lila of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Pauganda Lila of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see that when Advaita Acharya heard that Mahaprabhu has started Kirtan or that he is doing these activities, he was incredibly happy. He knew that, okay, he has arrived. Like that. He has come. Now he is here. Right? And so many such pastimes like that. So yes, it's fact. He's there. Thank you very much. Anything else? Questions? But your questions from yesterday, I found the answers to that. Okay, I got the answers to that from Prabhupada Maharaj. I did the research last night. I found the answers. I will give you the. Yeah. And Srila Prabhupada also mentioned. And whenever Prabhupada Maharaj answers questions, he always answers with references to Srila Prabhupada's purports or translations or the Shastra. So for us, we don't have to do a lot of work to figure out where he said it from. So yeah, so I will give it that to you.
I just have a comment. Thank you so much for choosing that verse. That was very poetic verse, and whatever you were quoting, that was on point and like very nectarian. Very nice.
Srila Prabhupada's
words. And also like in Bali also it happened like maybe 40 minutes before you're like, okay, I'm going to stop, and then you take for like 1 hour. It's very difficult for you to stop, and that's very very sweet.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, I'm long-winded.
No, it's good.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Okay. Time for breakfast. Srila Prabhupada ki. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Charitamrita ki. Lord Shiva Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu ki. Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyo Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna